Welcome back, guys, to Pro League on Tuesday. It is Valdez and Wolf here tonight in what could be the shortest day of Pro League ever. Yep. Already Afreeca up 2-0 on MVP Chikinmaru.
Like, if MVP loses here, like if Gumiho had actually not like flown around 2 medevacs with like 30 supply left for 2 minutes, like we would have definitely had a record time here. But looking at our next matchup, Bomber versus Forte, I went Forte here. He's a new player for MVP. There's been a lot of talk of this guy for a really long time. You know, he's not really a new guy because he used to be Salvation, right? But I mean, he's like one of these players that has been kind of in the background, but MVP has put a lot of stock in him. I talked to Choi about it when he first joined the team. Everyone's saying, oh, good things about him, you know.
He beat Stork?
Yeah, he beat Stork. Okay,
beat Stork
different
once,
matchup,
you know?
but, you know, I vote for him, and I also vote against Bomber with my prediction for this one because Bomber has been, like, it's like the law of Bomber. This is something that people.
It's like we put the camera on you, we zoom in, we're like, "Why, Wolf? What's going on? Like, say something to the fans."
The
now that
you
you vote against
really
Bomber,
mad. I'm like, one guy's got like a Red Bull on his desk. I'm like, that's not even his sponsor anymore. Really.
Crushes it. He's like, what?
But there was something actually the fans called the law of Bomber, which is that he will always disappoint, no matter what.
Oh wow, that's so depressing.
They're
but
calling
guys,
Stork apparently.
yeah, we're calling Stork the coach, obviously, the playing coach. They're on a vacation until today, Samsung. They gathered up in the team house to watch these Pro League games.
그래도 이제 뭐 마지막
They're very
세트
nervous.
아프리카
Everyone is very
프릭스
nervous.
치킨마루 MVP 치킨마루 경기가 있으니까 뭐 김기용 선수가 승리를 해야지만 삼성 갤럭시가 또 올라갈 수 있잖아요. 네.
Forte has to win in
김기용
order for
선수가
Samsung to win
잘하라고 한마디
or to
해주세요.
move on to the playoffs. Any message to Forte? I trusted Gumiho to win the first set, but he disappointed me. He even helped in practice.
네, 알겠습니다. 송혜원 코치 참 이 갑작스러운 부탁에도 이렇게 전화 연결해 주셔서 감사하고요.
Big smile after he defeats
앞으로 뭐
Bomber today.
2라운드와 3라운드 때도 멋진 삼성 갤럭시의 경기 보여주시길 바라겠습니다.
네, 개인적으로는 2, 3라운드보다 1라운드 더 보여주고 싶거든요.
네네네.
MVP 치킨마루 화이팅!
네, 감사합니다. 네, 코치님 감사합니다.
More things to show in round one, so we hope we advance to the playoffs so we can show that to you guys.
사실 삼성 갤럭시의 송병구 코치가 아니면
Pretty basic interview there. Stork's like, please win.
Yeah, I love the part how he's like, we helped you practice, Gumiho, what the hell? Like,
yeah. It's like, we all had faith in you, but you disappointed us, and all the casters are like, yeah, 6-1 in favor of Gumiho, but he just couldn't do it. And that's kind of the miracle setup there. Then Curious just crushes Departure with a builder win. And now Bomber, who's the fan favorite, will have to beat Forte here. And if he doesn't, then it's all over for the Freaks. Chikinmaru players looking pretty sad right now. By the way, on the opposite side of things for me and my casting, MVP Black is by far the best team and is the first seed in the finals.
Funny how things change when you change games. When you know, somehow MVP Black able to make it work over there, but fortunately the SC2 team having some trouble. They want to win one game for round one. They do not want to be embarrassed and go without a win. So they're definitely fighting for something here. This definitely matters to them.
Looking at these two players, neither of them have played an official TVT. So, you know, there's not a lot of data to go on from that. But, you know, MVP does have some strong Terran players in their lineup to practice with. And Keen is also someone that Bomber can practice with, and Keen's TVT is not very bad either. So I think both sides have merits here. And it's a very even split here, 4-3.
Yeah, it seems like other people following the rule of Bomber saying he will disappoint. Those people being Daehyun, Kanata, GTR, and you. For the rest of us going for Bomber, let's see if Bomber can do it or if Forte is going to ruin the dreams of the Freaks. Let's go. Up at the top left in the red from the Afreeca Freaks, it is Bomber.
And his opponent to the bottom right, formerly known as Salvation, it is Forte for MVP Chicken Maru. Now, everyone knows Bomber, okay? He played since the beginning of time. He was actually on Eastro in Starcraft 1. Along with many foreign players who actually stayed and trained with the team, like, for example, Artosis.
You may know him. I heard he was pretty famous.
Rhett, and I believe even Liquid Tyler Noni was over there for a little while. But yeah, it's a solid team in Brood War. A lot of good players actually switching into StarCraft 2 came from that team. But Salvation has kind of always been the B-teamer of whatever weaker team he was on. Like, he was on NS Hosa for a while, which was actually where he had like some of his most played games, and now he finds himself on MVP as one of their key players. He just recently joined like right before the media day of Pro League, so he just made it onto the roster, and he's a solid player, and he's been looking better and better, so it's a good, important time for him in his career to actually start getting decent wins. Beating Bomber here, who's kind of a legend in StarCraft 2, would be an important first step. He'd also stop his team from going to the playoffs, which would be really sad for them, but you know, every point matters, especially when you're potentially going to be like 0-6 in the league, and with -12, I believe it would be if they actually lose all three of these. So, not good.
Yeah,
want to prevent that
for sure. And just for your own pride as well, you want to win your game regardless. If you are a professional gamer, that is, and of course Forte is himself. It's funny the way things have changed here in TVT. It seems like a lot of Terrans kind of in a safe sort of build. We saw this out of TY yesterday, where he played against, oh wow, this SCV is actually going to get in.
Miss Rally, oopsie daisy. We'll see that Factory coming up, not a CC. Gives him actually a huge idea as to what's happening. He is kind of stuck in his own CC anyways, so he's just going to have to play a little bit safer as a result.
Yeah.
But yeah, this build is very popular right now with Double Reaper safety of opening.
Yeah, Bunny was able to defeat TY yesterday because TY went for this very safe kind of opening. Get a bunch of Reapers out. It stops any kind of 2 Rax Marine pushes, any kind of cheese like that. So very popular. You can use those Reapers to get in and out of the base very easily as well. You can do nice bits of harass too, so very popular build over here in Korea.
And in mirror matchups, scouting is oftentimes the most important thing. Oh, this was somewhat sloppy here by Forte. The funny thing is Bomber didn't have his Reaper's position perfectly to stop that, but he just got hesitant there and died. But scouting in this matchup is so important because it lets you know what you need to have to defend, because TVT is often an aggressor's matchup. Ooh, cancel there on that Tech Lab. Looks like he just wants one, changing his mind. Probably just a mistake to make the second one, I would say.
Yeah, I guess he was thinking about swapping that over to another building over there, but gonna decide against it. Of course, back at the base of Forte, he is not going for a CC. He's actually going for a drop here with what looks like Hellions, mainly, whereas Bomber does have the CC up here now, changing into that orbital. So if Bomber can defend here, he's going to be in a fantastic spot, especially across spawns.
You know, if you have a drop like this with Reapers and Hellions, which is what it looks like it's going to be kind of a little bit of a push with, even the Medevac's going to heal the Reapers, by the way. And if the Reapers survive in the middle of the fight and you micro them well, they're always going to out-heal Marines. A Cyclone is on the way for Bomber, which is going to help him defend this, but the bunker is the key here. And I think that we're going to have to see the drop utilized to elevate these units in. He's not going to be able to just break through the front. It's going to be tough if he wants to try that.
Looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to load up this medevac now with the Hellions and jump up the ramp here with the Reapers. Bunker's not going to help out now. He needs to get on top of these units. The Cyclone does come out, but he needs to be effective with it here.
Oh, good micro on it so far. Putting the mines on the ramp actually stop reinforcements. There's another big grenade hit. He needs to target down that Cyclone, but it's too much damage sustained already.
Whoa, is this happening? He's actually defended it totally.
Yeah, he had no problems there. The Cyclone was targeted, but he had just too much health.
The medevac's going to go down. No. He can't save it. There it goes.
And there you have it. I mean, the Cyclone may die here, just barely. But Forte has a late CC. Look at the amount of money he's floating right now with all the micro he does. He has one Liberator, and he had one Reaper.
Yeah, there it goes. Already up 20 supply here is Bomber. He has the tools to defend against this Liberator. As long as he doesn't take any damage, he's going to be in such a fantastic spot.
Yeah, this could actually... Oh, he didn't position it well, never mind. I was going to say this could actually do a little bit, but nope. He miscontrols that as well, and the Cloak Banshee follow-up here is going to be very weak, and this game is already essentially over.
Yeah, you get this far behind in a mirror matchup, I'm sorry. It is going to be very hard to come back, nearly impossible.
If he had the units get into the main base and he had the grenades stopping units from coming from the natural into the main, I think this would have been a different story, but he got stuck there. He tried to focus the Cyclone down, which he needed to do essentially, or he's going to take too much damage, but Cyclone just has too much health, and the Reapers basically tickle it. This is going to be the death of MVP here, and it looks like Afreeca, they were just one small step away from securing that playoff spot. Stork is shaking at home right now.
Yeah.
He's freaking out.
He must be so angry, man. This Whittle Mine is here. Let's see what kind of shot it gets. Nice split. Gonna sacrifice a Reaper and scan to kill that.
All right, here's the repair on the bunker that only has one Marine. I don't think Bomber realizes that. He's actually going to step away. Could have probably traded for a lot of SCVs. Here comes that Banshee with Cloak. I'm not sure if Bomber has any Vikings at home. He sent his other Viking there, but he has a turret here.
But he needs units to defend against this. The placement of the turret is not the best. It's behind the mineral line. You can sit over the CC and just shell at this if there's nothing to defend against the Banshee. So now Forte getting a bit of damage, going to go up to 4 SCVs, and you can see Bomber struggling to defend this.
Yeah, well, this turret's actually not even placed in the correct position to give vision here. He does have a medevac, so these heals on the SCVs are huge. There's the scan. He saved quite a few of those. The second Banshee should find even less damage because he's prepared for this now. And it's going to take a miracle for Forte to come back from this.
Yeah, I mean, look at the army of Bomber right now. Just taking a look at unit counts, it's 3 tanks to 1, 2 Vikings to 0. 1 Banshee for Forte, but he needs to get damage done with that. He's actually continuing to make Banshees here, even with the amount of turrets that are already out, the 2 Vikings. He's desperately trying to find damage, but I don't believe he's going to be able to. Another scan going to be used here.
He's barely going to get out of this, I believe. Missile's not going to connect. The second scan will seal the deal, though. But I think it's worth it when you're this far ahead to just secure these little kills to make sure that the one way Forte gets back in the game is just sealed away from him. He went double Viking. He has so many Vikings.
He's going to see the Banshee here with his medevacs, but Forte, more importantly, is going to see the drop. Now, can he defend against it? He needs to get those Marines in position, stop the medevacs from dropping down. Of course, you can drop out those tanks, put them into siege mode, and try to just harass with them instead.
If Bomber loses all these units, Forte's back in the game. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, okay, Bomber has to be so careful. There are a couple of missile turrets coming up here as well.
Forte is making literally all the right choices when he's at this position base behind. He's taking a double greedy eBay. He's taking the greedy third base. He's making all the right turrets. When he sees those the push coming across, he's like, no, I'm not even going to risk it. I'm not going to mess around with this. I'm going to make the turrets. I love how he's playing this, even though he's so far behind. He's looking for that perfect engage.
Yeah, essentially if Bomber cannot find damage, Forte is going to slowly claw his way back into this game, and Bomber is definitely struggling to find this damage. I mean, it looks like he's trying to come in here for the drop now, but there is 1 tank in position already.
Oh, he's trying to snipe that tank with the new delays, of course, on these siege tanks. Well, not that new anymore, but it's tougher to actually make insta-snipes like this work. Big stem run across the map for Bomber. He's like really starting to freak out a little bit. That was a huge stem.
Stemmed all his Marines, all in the yellow and orange. Thankfully, does have a lot of energy on his medevac, so can heal him up.
Yeah, he's almost 30 army supply ahead, but he's even behind in workers. And with the 2 upgrades about to finish here for Forte, if this becomes a Marine battle, he's going to win it. And combat shields finishing for both players right now. Forte could, if he takes just 1 good engage, find himself back in this game. This is so close right now.
This is not over just yet. Let's see what Bomber can do here. A couple of tanks kind of caught out in the middle here.
Oh,
Bomber's just going to go around it.
Very well positioned by Forte. He's trying to hit these Marines from behind very smartly. Now he's harassing the army. And now he's going to fly into the line of sight bunkers. And you know how I feel about those.
Well, he does snipe the 2 tanks here. Doesn't lose all that many Marines.
Oh, he wants to try to snipe these tanks in the medevacs as well. I feel like Forte is outplaying Bomber so hard right now. Even the Bomber had like every advantage. This game isn't over yet. Forte does have an armory, but he's not starting 2-2 yet. He needs to get on that because Bomber's starting his +2 and his armor's on the way.
Yeah, even getting the +1 to vehicles now, so Bomber definitely wants to put on the pressure here. He does get supply blocks slightly, but as you said, Forte's got an incredible defense so far.
Like, I have the utmost confidence he can come back in this game with how I saw him control his units just then. I mean, yeah, he lost the tanks on the line of sight blocker, but he used them in such a way where they were guaranteed value, you know? Like, they were going to die pretty much no matter what. Okay, now 2-2 is on the way for him. Bomber will have +2 attack first.
There is a drop also going to the top of the map. I don't think our observer's seen that, but he's going to fly over this turret. Can he drop in? He does drop over the turret. Very weak medevac, but there's not much here for Bomber. Okay, there is a tank and a couple of Marines, and it should be enough to defend this.
Triple tank harass in the middle of the map as well. He's looking for those shots on the Marines.
Yeah, we always talk about TVT is so skill-based now. You need to be the aggressor, out active on the map. You need to be dropping at 2 different places, harassing, and out multitasking your opponent. And Salvation is, well, Forte is trying to do that right now.
Look at the vision control he has on the map as well. He's looking for sick picks right now. He's dropping constantly. He's finding damage. I'm really liking how he's playing right now. He's actually going to kill this command center as well, or at least try to force a cancel on it.
Lots
Just
of Marines,
barely not able to.
Does delay it in at least, you know, another SCV going to have to be pulled here to complete that command center. Bomber does have that on the low ground, and he has maxed out now to the 150 of Forte, but he's definitely having trouble finding the right angle.
Oh,
maybe
this could
is
be it.
Look at how many tanks are in those medevacs. Jeez.
Oh, the rocks were still down. Forte doing a money scan here. He might try to harass from behind. Oh, no, he's just going to set up a defensive position. This planetary is a bit late here, and in fact, it's being stimmed down.
He's going to actually try to focus it down. No, just barely not going to be enough, and he does have an SCV there to repair. Forte getting his own 4th base at the same time, but Bomber is pressuring this 3rd.
And Forte's base is mining, and Bomber hasn't really done anything about that. It's all about these sensor towers as well. It's giving him all this vision about what's happening. Forte is out-controlling Bomber right now. Bomber's really trying to find an angle, though. He's got the much larger army.
Oh, look at this. Going to try to stim through, and he's got so many tanks in position, but all the Marines in the back, but it's just too much. Bomber stimming through.
Drops the mule. And there you go. That's all he needed is just that one good fight. And it looks like Afreeca Freaks will be going to the playoffs.
Unbelievable, man. They've somehow done it. I don't know how it's possible, but they've made it work. Bomber with the finish up does not disappoint tonight. Another mule does drop it. GG. Afreeca is going to the playoffs.
Bomber does it. All he has to do is hold that crazy all in. And even though he got, a bit nervous and was making a few small mistakes control-wise here and there, he had what it took. Just he was that far ahead. His army was almost twice as big there at the end. It was like, 60 supply ahead in army. And then he had just swung the hammer and finished the series.
Shout out to Forte. He had fantastic control. He was trying his best, you could tell, to really come back in that game. I mean, that original attack got him so far behind, but he almost made it work. Bomber was very smart also about being safe in the way that he did the aggression. He never just went for it, He's like, oh, okay, Forte's got a nice defense. Let me back off, get an extra base ahead of him, just keep on getting ahead instead of throwing away my army. And eventually he found that angle in that one final attack, and that's all it took.
Yeah, and that angle in that final attack was also, if he didn't have that many Marines, a pretty terrible angle. Like, he was going through a choke point. There just weren't enough tanks there.
The Marines were like stimming through one by one. In fact, the tanks were blocking it. But
it could have been horrible, but I feel like it just doesn't matter how well you play when you're that far behind. Forte made all the perfect moves, but Bomber seals it, man. Seals the deal, puts them the exact score. They got the 3 wins they needed. And sorry, Samsung fans. Sorry, Stork. Not happening.
Sorry, dear. That guy has been playing an unbelievable round 1, really carrying that Samsung team.
He's carrying it on his back.
Seriously, I think he was 5-2. Yeah, 5-2 by the end of it, and they were only 3-3. And he does not get to go. Samsung does not get to play in the playoffs, and this definitely hurts their chances, especially we were talking about it. There's only 3 rounds this time. If you don't make it into the playoffs, not getting points and not making it there definitely hurts your chances.
Look at
getting
that.
To the end.
1 indicator points, all that they needed. They lost the direct comparison to Samsung. They needed that 1 point. So, our playoffs are set. KT Rolster's going to face Afreeca in the first round. Jin Air with that win yesterday gets a bye from that. The winner of KT Rolster versus Afreeca will play Jin Air. And then the winner of that, of course, will play SK
the final
Telecom
boss.
in the finals.
No surprise there, SKT at the top once again. You can see the points already, or what has been secured for these teams. Obviously, they can win more